Hello, everyone. I am Bryan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 64, Dune, 2021. Don't get it twisted now. Every movie has two versions with the same exact name nowadays, so gotta tell you which one we're doing.
We finally made it. God damn, This movie is supposed to come out last year. It's been announced forever ago. We finally seen it. It's finally happening.
Yeah. And well, it's long and it's pretty boring. We'll see if I can find anything I like about it. So HBO Max release, of course, theater and HBO. Did really well.
Yeah.
I think it's number one opening of the pandemic. So, I mean, you can't. People want to talk shit about the dual release thing, but just beat everyone else. And it was day one. You could have watched it at home in your living room. So,
yeah, I mean, I've been pretty vocal about like moving forward what I think they should do. I think I even posted it in our Facebook group, but I'm like, to me, that's the future. Like because it makes both parties happy. Like there's people like me who like to go to theaters. We can still enjoy that. And there's people who don't like theaters at all. They get to enjoy it at home with their loved ones or whatever, watch it on their... That's definitely the way to go. And so I'm hoping this continues in the future. I don't know if Hollywood can sustain that model. I hope they can, because it would suck to have one or the other. Like if home streaming goes away and it's just theaters, that's going to piss a lot of home people off. And then if theaters go away, it's going to piss a lot of the theaters. So I hope that this model stays.
Yeah. Yeah, because apparently, if people want to see your movie, it doesn't matter if it's at home, they'll come out to the theater. If you film it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'd like to say, because I always say it at the end, please like and subscribe, okay? Please check out the YouTube. Please check out where are we on? Spotify, Apple. We're on a couple different things if you prefer to just listen to the podcast. If you want the whole visual flair and the handsome faces, you can come to YouTube. You can always do that. Yeah, there it is. So today, as you can see, I'm in Arrakis, and I remembered that name, which I'm proud of. Mm-hmm. So there are so many names and shit flying around this movie that it's hard to keep track of all the lore, man, because they don't really tell you about it. It just kind of flows through the movie. They happen to mention stuff. I was watching the beginning of the original movie. I got about 40, 50, or maybe about 40 minutes in. And they start with a voiceover, the chick just standing there telling you about stuff, because it's like, you're going to need to know some stuff. And I was like, man, that's a kind of a shitty way to do a movie, but I understand now watching the second one where you don't get explained anything. And you're like, what the fuck? Sandworms? What is this, Beetlejuice? And so
this movie is very exposition heavy. It doesn't give it to you all at once, but there's a lot of exposition in this movie for sure. I'm really curious to watch the other Dune, because it's just a fascinating thing. Like David Lynch is the director, and it stars the guy from Twin Peaks. I forget his name.
Yeah, that was his first movie.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they handled. And there's no part 2, so I'm wondering how they did it in the 2-hour runtime.
So far in, it was pretty fun. It was, it's like an 80s cheese movie, but it's fun. Mm-hmm. The shields, the shields were terrible. Like the shields in this movie, they press the wrist thing and then it goes kind of fuzzy, and then if you get hit fast, that's what the shield does. It protects you from fast hits. It'll go and it'll have a little blue thing where the shield got hit. If you get hit slow, like someone goes it goes right through your shield, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard weird, of. Yeah. Like you got some people get stabbed and shit. Every time when you win a fight, you gotta go. Just push it in. Push it in real slow. And there's all these weird little bullets in this new movie that'll go, and they'll hit the shield, and then they'll kind of go into like shield penetration mode. Yeah. And the person's always like, "Oh no, it's gonna get in." But anyways, in the old one, Patrick Stewart is the guy training him, with the
Oh
shields.
wow.
I didn't know he was in it, so that was kind of cool. It's like, whoa, Patrick Stewart. He's not in a wheelchair. Look at this. And he hits the shield thing, and it's just like just squares go over every part of the body, like big squares that cover the arms, and they're like kind of fuzzy. They fuzz though you can't really see the person in it very well, and it's like this, it's like 1984 like CG or something, and it's just like moving and squared, and you look like a. Jake was pretty accurate with the Rob locks thing. I don't know what those are, but I've seen them, and they're all square. And yeah, just imagine when you're a kid and you wear a bunch of cardboard boxes. You might put one on your chest and have holes, and then you put two on your arms. It's kind of like that. It was ridiculous, but that was the only part I saw the shield in. I don't know if it shows up later. I hope it doesn't, because other than that, it was watchable. But this new one, man, visually is pretty fucking stunning. But I don't know if I
was going to say, before we get in the nuts and bolts, I kind of wanted to address two things. The first is I didn't read the book, so I wouldn't consider myself like a Dune fan. I didn't really know much about it going in. I knew it wasn't going to be like an action-packed sci-fi movie. Like, what little knowledge I knew about it was going to be like a political type of movie. But I mentioned that because I went into this movie not knowing what it was really about, and B, I'm 100% going to butcher names and planets. So for those fans of the show, stick with us. We're not, at least for me, I didn't know this universe. And the second thing I wanted to bring up was, man, going to this movie in the theaters, it was so fun and refreshing to go to an event movie. I feel like it's been forever since I've been to like a big blockbuster event film. Like, it reminded me of going to see like Fellowship of the Ring or like a Star Wars. Like, when we walked up to the theater, there was a fucking line that extended outside the theater. There was just people everywhere. We saw an IMAX, and dude, the fucking IMAX was sold out, which is, dude, those tickets are like $18 a pop. I've never seen that before. I've gone to a few IMAX screenings there before, and there's always been like 20 or 30 people. But last night it was just packed to the brim. So I don't know. It was fun to go to like a big event movie again, because I feel like it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't see this in theaters, man. This was like you said earlier, this is a fucking visually stunning. See this movie on the big screen was pretty crazy.
I'm glad I saved my money. Let's put it that way. This movie, that's all it was visually stunning. I thought this movie was a complete bore fest. I fell asleep probably twice during the movie and had to rewind it. Yeah, I mean, nothing happens in this whole damn movie. I mean, I know it's based on the books, and I don't know anything about the book, so you can't go too far from the source material and stuff. But to have all these factions and cool characters and then not use them at all, it's just hey, you got all these cool things and planets going on, but guess what? We're in a desert, and the only thing we're going to show is a giant panning shots of fucking sand. And you know what? There's worms, but they're just moving in the sand, and it's just and when they finally get to you, they're very lackluster. It's like, oh, okay, it's this big fucking butthole looking worm, and pretty anticlimactic. And I think it only eats about two things in the whole movie. I think it eats like three people, and then it eats one of the
mining ship things.
Yeah, the extractors. And I still don't know what the hell spice is for. I think they briefly explain it in like a sentence in the beginning. It says it's essential to space travel. Why? Yeah. Why? They do explain it in the first movie, and the first movie so off the rails. I'm like, where was this shit in the fucking second movie, bro? That's like they explain that the spice has been taken by like the space navigators and has mutated their bodies over 4,000 years. And then when you see the first one, the navigator, he's in a fucking giant tank, and it's like a fucking puppet, fucking crazy, like it's like Krang in there. It's like, it's got like pussy lips, and it's like talking, and it's like the spice, and it's like they like use their minds and like fold space time so they can like go to other points in the galaxy instantaneously instead of warp drives. was like, yeah, that's fucking cool,
That's
man.
some David Lynch shit.
Where was this fucking creature in the other one, dude? They just kind of mentioned. I don't even remember if they mentioned why it's essential to space travel. Do you remember it? It was like one sentence in the very
All
beginning.
I remember is it's connected to space travel somehow, or it's
Yeah.
really this huge commodity that everyone wants, and
Yeah.
this planet has the most of it. But yeah, I actually want to touch on the book because, you know, I don't mean to offend anybody out there who's a fan of the book, but like watching this movie, well, for one, I think I'm the opposite of you. I think I enjoy this movie a lot. I liked it a lot, a lot, a lot. But the thing is that as much as I enjoyed it, it's like, why is this book so popular? And I mean that in like, you know, this isn't like a big like space battle, Star Wars, Fellowship of the Ring. It's like politics. So it makes I'm curious to know any fans out there who are listening, like what about this story? Like what like this thing is huge. This is a massive, massive, massive book that people fucking love. And it's just like power moves. It's like Game of Thrones. So I'm just curious why this book is so popular.
It's a lot less entertaining than Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that happens in this. I mean, so House Atreus is a affluent house from like this water planet. I forget the planet's name, but we're gonna go with substances on these planets because it's too much. Water planet, right? And they're enemies with the other faction. Do you know what the name of those guys were? Fuck.
They're like Harkonnen or Hadokens.
Yeah, House Harkonnen, I think is House Harkonnen, run by this fat guy. That character's really cool.
That cool. Yeah, that guy was awesome.
The big fat dude who fucking
that was so creepy
and shit. He does that in the first one too, dude. It's pretty fucking verbatim to the first one from what I've seen. Like a lot of it comes right across. Even the lines are exactly the same, but it's just done in a super B cheesy movie version in '84 Dune, which is a little more entertaining. Like the fat guy's his pores are like oozing and shit, and he's got gross stuff. And then at one point, like I don't know, they like all pop and all this black juice comes out, and he raises up. I was like, oh shit, it was pretty cool. But anyways, House Atreus is chosen by the Emperor of the like galaxy. There's a one emperor. We don't get to see him. You get to see him in the first one. So they the first one right off the bat, they tell you, yeah, the Emperor's trying to set up the House Atreus and get them killed by sending them to Harkonnen or whatever their name is. So they instantly, you know what's going on. This one, you don't really. So they're going to send him to this planet. What the hell's the planet's name? They call it Dune. Arrakis. Arrakis. And then, it's all sand. And they're a water people. And this other house has already come to this planet, but they're a warring like faction with House Atreus. And they were given like the spice contract by the Emperor, right, to mine all the spice. But now the Emperor is giving it to House Atreus. So there's going to be a power transition where they have to leave and then Atreus comes in. And so they go to the planet. Then it turns out to kind of be a political move by the Emperor to get rid of House Atreus because he knows the other house will kind of war with them. But it's like a secret move. He sends them like some troops and stuff to help him out. And anyways, that's about it. That's like the biggest fight or political thing that happens is they kind of secretly invade the spice mining colony and kill the people. That was the most exciting part of the movie. That was pretty cool. I feel like not much happened even then, though. You know, they just show some deaths. Didn't put up much of a fight. Jason Momoa was pretty fucking cool in this. He got one really good fight scene where he's just fighting, and then he comes back to life. Ah! Yeah, cool. After a sword in his chest.
There's something about Momoa when he was on screen. I'm like, there's something off.
But no beard.
No beard. I was like, oh, he's clean shaven. I don't think I've seen Momoa without a beard.
Yeah, it's weird. He looks a little chubbier.
Yeah.
In the face.
Right there, yeah.
Something weird about it. And then so there's that going on. But then there's also like the secondary plot, which is Paul Atreus is the son. of the Duke, and he has like this special mind power. What are they called? Like the ladies or something? They're
Yeah,
all
I don't
these
remember
women.
the witches. I don't remember what
Yeah,
their cults, not their
the
cult, but whatever
the
their
ladies
family
are the
name. Yeah,
women of something. I don't remember,
yeah.
but
His
they
mom is
all
part of it.
yeah, they all can like see things, and they're all like see premonitions, and they have a special ability called the voice, like fucking Skyrim. The voice.
Jedi
Where
mind
they,
powers, basically.
yeah, where they say stuff in a certain pitch or rhythm, and then you have to do it. Sit down, and
Yeah.
makes you sit down. Uh, they were pretty cool characters. That's pretty close verbatim to the first one too. The box and everything.
Mhm.
Um, so this woman is a concubine, right? Lady Jessica of the Duke, and they have a son who is the Paul character, but they're I guess these women are never supposed to have sons because it could bring about like the end of the world. Like men aren't supposed to have these powers, so they have to cut them out of the bloodline of these women, and so they only have daughters. But she had one anyways, and now he might be Jesus, the Messiah.
The one.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
They had a weirder Dune name for it, but the one is easier to say.
Yeah.
It's like the Uchamatahama. It's something like that. Anyways, he will come to the sand planet and not know our ways, and he will be like one of us. And I was like, okay. And he's having dreams, and he keeps seeing Mary Jane in his dreams. Zandia, is that her name?
Yeah.
And then you might think she's in this movie. She ain't.
She is not. No.
She ain't in this movie. She gets about 4 words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I can really remember. There's not much going on. It's kind of just like talk a bunch about stuff you don't know, get confused, and be like, I kind of understand what's going on, and then walk somewhere else. Like big walking traversal movie. Okay, set up the camera 3 miles in the desert and have it pan frecking across the whole damn thing, and we're gonna walk, and that's about it. But
yeah, that was my kind of my issue with the movie. Like, I think, I guess I disagree with. I was pretty entertained up until the attack. Like, that's probably like what the first hour and 45 minutes. I thought it was pretty engrossing. I was pretty entertained by it. Even though it's not like action packed, I was still pretty involved in the characters and what was going on. But
yeah,
the moment the attack happens and Paul and his mom go off into the desert, I think the movie kind of meanders a little bit in the last 45 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's wrap this up, because I think they're just out there for too long. I don't really know what's going on. So yeah, I think that's my biggest issue is like the last 45 minutes just kind of goes on and on and on when they probably could have just wrapped it up a lot quicker. But everything leading up to that, I thought was pretty entertaining. Yeah.
I thought it was stronger before they went to the desert. Yeah. I didn't have very much fun with any of this. I just visually I liked it. I was like, wow, this looks cool. The beginning parts with the what's his name? Who played the Duke? Damn, I can't remember.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I liked his parts with him and his son, and I liked Josh Brolin was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Javier
Bardem. He doesn't show very much either.
I liked him though. He was pretty good as the sand wizard. You have to fight. What am I fighting for? Everything. I have to know what I stand to lose. Everything.
He just flip a coin.
Yeah. Puts his little peanut wrapper on the counter. Yeah, he was good. I like that fight scene.
Spits on the war table. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Thank you for your moisture. But trust me, I have more moisture where that gives. I liked the fight between Paul and the other sand guy. I don't really realize why he was fighting. I remember he challenged the leader, got beat by his mom, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, and then he's talking to the main guy, like, you're talking like a leader. You're not a leader. The strongest will lead, and you just got bested by her. So now you have to fight her or something. And then all of a sudden it became him, this other guy, and Paul fighting. and I didn't understand how it switched. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
what
I
is
didn't
it?
really understand that either. It was like I don't know if it's like a protect the honor of the clan, so it's like
Yeah,
fuck
it's like
her,
what?
let's fight Paul.
Yeah. So how does that even work? So you lost, so I'm going to fight for you, even though I'm not the leader, and I'm not going to fight the person that beat you. I'm going to fight the little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to get him. So I didn't understand that, but I thought that was funny. Like he kept fighting him, and he's like, do you give up? And he's like, no. He's like, what is he? Is he toying with him? He's like, no, the boy has never killed a man before. Well, he needs to do it, okay? You got to kill this guy, man.
We do it to the death. Yeah.
But yeah, this movie is weird, man. I don't coming into it not knowing anything wasn't what I was expecting at all. They, for a sci-fi movie, they don't really have any space stuff. There's just very little. When they came to the planet, they had some ships. That was pretty cool. What else? It's hard to remember much because nothing much happens. They just throw a bunch of words and a bunch of story at you, which is not well fleshed out. I mean, it's not in the first one. They just kind of tell it to you overtly over a voiceover, so that's probably not the way to do it. But I think this way, you doing it, you know a little less because they weren't able to visually and story wise tell you the story. So I think somewhere in the middle is the happy medium where people know what's going on, but you don't have to blatantly just tell the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there was not a standing ovation, but there was, thunderous applause when the credits were. So I imagine most of those people were fans. So whatever they adapted seemed to make everyone happy. I didn't clap because I'm not a clapper, but I enjoyed it. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool moments. Like I love the moment where their castle, their home, whatever you want to call it, gets attacked in the middle of the night, and like Josh Brolin, what does he hear, an alarm or something? But he runs outside with a couple troops and he looks up, and it's just a fucking shot of this massive spaceship with all these little ones starting to come down, and it's like, oh fuck, it's about to go down. I was a little bummed that Batista wasn't in it more. He seemed like a cool, fucking crazy, bald fucker. I wish I would have seen him unleashed, but didn't get to see too much of him.
That character was like Sting in the first one. Well, that character's like two characters in the first one. So he's got like two nephews that play that character.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know how it is in the book, but in the first movie, it's two people instead of just one. And one of them looks so familiar, and I looked it up, and it's Sting. I mean, I didn't hate this movie, but I was just a little disappointed. I thought I was going to like it more. I mean, I am looking forward to the sequel.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a sequel. And if anyone's worried, trust me, we're getting a part 2. With as much money as it's making, we're definitely getting part 2.
And so I think that'll be interesting. I just worried the sequel going into all more Sand People stuff might be even more boring than the first one. You know what I mean? Because it kind of ended it on the Sand People. He's going to the Sand People. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, what's there? Like, he's going to obviously, corral everybody to go have a fight. So that would probably be the big epic climax of that movie. I thought it was interesting to see a guy riding a worm. That was kind of cool. He's like, woo! Yeah! I want to see more of that. That looks fucking badass.
What do they say? Desert power.
That was pretty cool.
That gets said a couple times in this movie. I was like, what the fuck is this? Desert power. Desert power, dude! Like Michelangelo or something. Yeah. I've heard a criticism that all the best things happen in Paul's dreams. And I was like, yeah, you're right. One of the most exciting things happened in his fantasies that never play out in the movie. So, like when he's in the gold armor and then the visor comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that in the fights. And so we'll see if that stuff happens in the second one. They kind of recreate those things for him to reminisce about. But yeah, I was just disappointed in the slowness and the kind of ultra serious tone. I've seen people say if Lynch went B movie with it, this Villeneuve guy, he went ultra serious, and it's a little too serious for me.
Yeah, that's all his movies. Like he's been on my radar. He's honestly one of my favorite modern directors. I've had my eye on him for a really long time. I don't think this is his best movie. I think I prefer Arrival and Blade Runner 2049 over this personally. But yeah, all of his movies are very serious. Not a lot of comedic moments.
Yeah, Arrival was good. I like that one.
Yeah, Arrival's awesome.
Blade Runner is okay. That first one was so good. I know nothing much compares to it. Yeah, so I'll watch the sequel. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, but my judgment of this being like super boring to me is when it ended. I was like, man, I don't think I can watch that again. Like, this isn't a movie. You pop, hey, y'all want to watch Dune? And it's like, do you want to sit down for 2.5 hours and like, watch it again when you already know what happened? Kind of movie. It's like it's so slow that I just don't feel like this is a rewatchable movie for me. It's like I couldn't see myself wanting to watch this again. I know it. I've seen it. Now I want to see the sequel, but I was like, I couldn't picture myself. I got to buy the disc, and so I have this movie anytime I want. I could go back to Dune,
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. As much as I liked it, and I did like it, I know we're kind of harking on stuff we didn't, but I really enjoyed it. But I do agree that even though I enjoy something, doesn't mean I'm going to fucking rewatch a million times. And I feel like I probably won't revisit this, even as much as I liked it. I probably won't revisit this until part 2, just to like watch it again and then get refreshed for part 2. Because you're right, this isn't like this isn't as entertaining of a movie to rewatch. It's not like a 2.5 hour fucking James Bond movie where like, I want to see those dope ass action scenes again.
The things I did like though, the visually stunning. A lot of these characters are super cool. I wish I would have got more of them, like the main bad guy.
Yeah, he was awesome.
That's kind of bullshit that he'd lived though, through the death cloud, because Oscar Isaac had to give his life to try and take him out, and that didn't work. He just comes back.
He's like hiding in the ceiling, like the fucking Exorcist.
Yeah, that guy's a gross villain. He's it's like it's pretty nasty.
There was like creepy shot where I think it's in that same scene, and I think the camera's behind Oscar Isaac. I think Oscar Isaac's in focus, and in the fucking far background is that guy, and he like raises from his seat and like floats across the table. It's really creepy.
Yeah. It's visually stunning. A lot of the characters are good. I really liked Charlemagne.
Yeah.
I don't know him from anything. Just seems like a little weirdo to me, kind of hearing about him and seeing him. But yeah, he was fine in this. I didn't picture myself liking this guy, but I did. So yeah, he did a fine job. Do you know what he's from? What the hell is this guy?
So he's one of those actors. He started with a movie called Call Me by Your Name, and a bunch of middle-aged white women were like wetting their panties over this guy. And now he's just been kind of a heartthrob. I've seen a couple movies with him in it. He's actually really good. He was in a movie called Little Women. It was like a remake of that old whatever 1920s novel. He was really good in that. And then there was a Netflix movie. I think it was a Macbeth retelling. Fuck, what the hell was that? I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's really good in that movie. I think he's probably even better in that than he is in this. But yeah, he's just one of those heartthrob actors that women kind of attach themselves to, or men, I guess.
How fucking old is he? This guy looks like he's he's fucking 18.
Yeah, he's pretty young. I don't know.
Heartthrob. And he's all tiny. Like when they had the scene with him with his shirt off, I was like, oh, this is your heartthrob. This guy. And and then like he has the love interest with Zendaya. And I was like, I don't believe it. She's with Tom Holland. Look at that dude. he looks young, but at least he's ripped.
Right. It's funny. I saw an interview with them. I don't know if you saw this, but I don't know if they're like. I don't really pay attention to Hollywood relationship stuff I could give two fucks. But I think that I get the impression that Zendaya and Tom Holland are like, maybe they're trying to keep it a secret, but obviously you got fucking paparazzis, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, Timothée Chalamet, whatever, and Zendaya are doing this interview, and one of the questions was like, "Who is your Hollywood crush?" And then Timothy, without missing a beat, is like, "Oh, that's fucking easy, Tom Holland." And then Zendaya was just like, she kind of like tiptoes around a little bit, but I thought it was funny. He just straight up called her out.
But yeah, what else did I like? The score is pretty good.
Yeah, the score
Isn't
is
it
cool.
Hans Zimmer?
Yeah,
I've heard some complaints of the score where it's just he's kind of digressed and just goes back to his one note things. I could kind of see that. It is kind of like kind of score, but it goes pretty well with this. I liked it.
I don't like I like the score too, but there's moments where I think it's used in a corny effect because some of the score has like a woman vocal like humming, oh my God. And it's like when someone gets like there's a moment where a woman gets stabbed from behind and you don't see it coming, and as soon as she gets stabbed, it's just like I don't know, it's just corny to me.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked it.
She got stabbed. And then I love how the movie ends. It's a circle of life.
Everything the sand touches is yours.
Yeah.
I like there's a sequence. I guess this is me gushing about IMAX, but there is a sequence. Well, I guess if people are wondering, this is my best guess. But I feel like probably 45% of the movie is shot in IMAX in terms of like it filling the whole IMAX screen. Most of it's still that widescreen. I'd say like 45% of it is IMAX. But one of the moments that really stuck out to me in terms of the IMAX format is there's a scene where Paul and his dad and what's Josh Brolin's fucking character name? Gurney. They all go out into the dunes to see it for the first time. And this is the whole set piece where they come across that mining thing and there's the worm coming. That whole sequence was in IMAX, and just like seeing the dunes and then like the whole kind of action set piece where they're trying to save it. There was, I don't know, I thought that was a really well done scene. Really fucking cool visually. And like just seeing the fucking mouth for the first time, it's like all these little hairs, spike things, and it just takes up the whole frame. Just sucks everything down.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The extractor is pretty cool. You only ever see like one. I don't ever show too much like of the actual spice mining going on.
Yeah, because I got the impression that they didn't really care about it in this, like, or they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were there more to set up an alliance with, what were they called? The Freemans or Freitas, whatever, the sand.
Something that under.
I feel like they were there. Yeah, I think they were there mainly to get that, because Duke knew that they were being set up, or at least he had an idea. And so his whole goal was before the shit hit the fan, he needed to get this alliance. So I don't think that the spicing mining was his priority. But then that's kind of a contradiction, because there's that moment where like they're talking to his head side guy, his assistant, and he's like, "Oh, we don't have enough, room to hold all the spice." And he's like, "Oh, we're being set up, so we need to get more equipment." So I don't know.
Yeah, they don't make it seem like spice is the most important commodity in the galaxy, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this movie was strange. I'm glad I went into it not knowing anything about it, so I could be surprised,
Yeah.
But this wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Star Wars. I was expecting like ship battles, and I knew it was going to be planetary based, but it was still a lot different than I thought it would be. And no one yelled spice. I thought that was coming. Spice!
But sometimes, like for me, I don't know if this happens to you at all, but there's times where I'm not saying this will happen for you. This is kind of an aside. But there's times where I've seen a movie and like going in, I had this idea of what it was going to be, and then I see the movie and it's like not it at all, and I kind of have a negative reaction of it because I'm like, oh, I was expecting this and you didn't fucking deliver. And then I go back and revisit it with knowing what the movie actually is, and I tend to enjoy it a little more. But it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it happens.
No, I didn't have any preconceived notion of what this movie would be. I've seen the pictures and I know a little bit about, it's sand and there's something with a spice. It's like a drug. And,
Right.
uh,
Or it could be a Last Jedi effect where you're going in, you're expecting a lot and you don't get it, and it's awesome.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I was just expecting more of a blockbuster epic based on the trailer material, based on everyone's so hyped for this. So I was like, why are they so hyped for this? Apparently, this is a big thing. And it was more of a slow melodrama, with undertones of deceit and traitorous behavior, backstabbing, political espionage.
It's almost like Shakespearean in a way, right? It's like a Macbeth or it's kind of what it reminded me of.
Dragonfly ships. those are kind of interesting. Yeah, but I mean, I liked it. It wasn't terrible, but I do think it was a little boring, a little long, and we'll see what happens in the second one. It's not many characters going into the second one, so it's kind of weird. We'll see. Not many. We won't go over that too much, but yeah, I'm prepared to see the ones that do go forward. What happens?
Yeah, I imagine obviously we'll get more Paul and Shaney. I have the IMDb up. I'm assuming that's what her name is, Zendaya. We'll get more of them. We'll definitely get more Batista and his uncle.
Yeah,
which is I'm all about that. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, Batista kind of looks like the more menacing one in this, but they don't use him at all. Like, he's so pale and white and weird looking. Yeah, they're both pretty creepy characters. So I'm thinking about this score, and it's tough. I'm right on the fence between two numbers. A high one number and then a low other number. I think I got to go with my gut, my instinct, and give this movie a 6.9. I think it's close to a 7, but I don't think it quite reaches it. I think it's entertaining. I enjoyed it somewhat. A little boring, a little long. I will watch the sequel, but I don't ever see myself needing to put this in again. Maybe down the while, after, give it some time, you forget enough of it. Like, you can go back to almost anything, but for the foreseeable future, I think I'm done with this. Glad I watched it. It's not great in my eyes, but it's serviceable, and this is a visual masterpiece. I mean, you watch this on IMAX or whatever, or in 4K, something. Don't watch it on a CRT, or you're probably going to lose all its luster. It would be interesting to watch this on like an old CRT TV if you could get it hooked up somehow to see how you take away its splendor. Does this movie have anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I got to go to 6.9. I almost put it in the 7s, but I just didn't have enough fun with it to put it up there.
Yeah. I'm a little higher. I was circling around an 8. Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, I was pretty entertained for probably 3/4 of the movie. My problems lie with the last probably 45 minutes. I think it lingers a little too long, outstays its welcome. Even though there are cool moments in those last 45 minutes. Like, I remember there's right when they escape, they go to this little hut, and I just remember, dude, the fucking they get raided by this group of soldiers, and like they float down, and like it looks like they're on wires, like, when people propel from helicopters, but they don't have any wires. They're just kind of like eerily just like those cool little like visual moments like that, and I thought it was a cool little fight scene. But anyways, long story short, yeah, dude, the visually stunning. Like the acting was great. The story isn't the fucking most fast paced or the most entertaining, but I was engaged. So yeah, and I like Denis Villeneuve. I knew going in this was going to be a serious movie. I knew it was going to be a blockbuster because he just doesn't do blockbusters. So I was expecting what I got in terms of its tone. But yeah, I'm at a solid 8 for Dune.
All right, 8 and a 6.9. So we're about 1 point away from each other. It's pretty close. Yeah, I look forward to the next one. Hopefully it doesn't take fucking 3 years to get the next one, you know. Hopefully they're already I heard they haven't started yet, but I have heard that it's almost a done deal. And I have heard I don't know if this is true, but I saw some rumor that they're going to do an HBO series on the women, like that cult of witches.
That'd be cool.
That could be interesting because they're kind of the most interesting part of this. That subplot of the like chosen one, and it's kind of like the Jedis. It's really pretty cool.
One of my favorite scenes of the movie is Paul and his mom are being escorted to the desert in the middle of the night, and they're like chained up in this dragonfly ship, and you see them use their powers, especially his mom, to full and it's so fucking creepy and well done. It was really cool. I want to see more of that for sure.
Yeah, and I just think of when he's tested by the main like witch in the beginning. That was pretty good. It's pretty close, but in the original 84, when they give you a little more context, because the witch talks a little bit more, you know, because they're always overtly telling you the story. So, you know, she's like, and in the original, there's a lot of characters show their faces, and then it'll be like, but why did he do that? Could he be the one? It's all like inner monologues. So it's a lot of that. And then the witch is like, but no male has ever survived the test. so yeah, no male has ever survived that test. So we kind of see why that lady is so surprised in this new one. It's like, oh my God, that's enough. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Hopefully we can get it. You know, I hear it's trying to be the new Star Wars or like Fast and Furious is what I've heard they want to do. They want to have like 6 of these movies and just keep pumping them out. That could be cool as long as the stories allow it. But I mean, I guess there's a lot of these books. So.
Yeah. We'll see. I think I may have like created a false memory or something, because when I got home last night, you know, for those who don't know, you and I and a couple of buddies have an ongoing Facebook chat. We chit chat with each other a lot. And one of our buddies was like, "Oh, is there going to be a part 2?" And my mom, I immediately was like, "Well, yeah, they announced that from the moment this movie was announced. It was announced as 2 parts." And then I went and looked. I'm like, "Oh, it wasn't. Like, where the fuck did I get that?" Like, I could have sworn when they announced Dune, it was going to be a part 1 and part 2, but I was wrong. But I mean, they have enough confidence in it that literally in the opening title of this movie, it says Dune Part 1. So
yeah. And then my answer to him was no. It was never meant to be 1 part. They just do that. They're always ready for a sequel. They end the movie just drastically with no real ending because they're hoping the sequel comes, and then which sucks because then if the sequel doesn't come, your movie's kind of fucked.
Yeah,
because it doesn't really have anything. Kind of like you know, a lot of the Terminators. Every time they tried to reboot it, they do that. Especially Genesis, it just left you with so many unanswered questions that were going to be in the sequel, and then they never happened. So then you're left with this Terminator movie that's just like, what the fuck happened, dude?
Yeah.
No idea. So good thing the bet paid off. Because, yeah, I'd never heard anything about being a 2-parter. And then I saw that part 1. I was like, oh, well, they're really thinking this is going to do well. And they're right. So,
yeah, I mean, the box office is, I think they were saying that it's making as much as Interstellar did when it came out. And like Interstellar did not have obviously streaming in the same day. So even whatever the box office numbers are, it's probably even twice that because of HBO. But even the reception, I have Rotten Tomatoes up right now. I mean, not that Rotten Tomatoes is the be all, but the tomato meter is 83 and audience score is 91. So it's really resonating with either fans or newcomers. So yeah, I would be fucking shocked if they didn't do a part 2.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so looking forward to that. 6.9, 8.0. Go check it out. Go to the theater. This one's a spectacle one. This would probably look pretty good in the theater. Yeah, if I had IMAX, I probably would have done it. But the theater I go to is kind of an older one. I don't know what kind of projector they got, but it's not very high res. I can tell it's kind of looks like film. Doesn't look digital. I'm sure it is. Who has a? They got it up there with a fucking. They got to cut the master together and everything.
Right.
But yeah, it just looks really low res. So, and this movie looks really great on a if you have a big 4K. But yeah, check it out wherever you're wanting. And don't worry about if you have to check it out at home, because this movie's already made a ton of money. It's already proved the haters wrong. You could be a blockbuster and still, have a day one debut. So, Scarlett Johansson, take a look at that. Maybe the movie wasn't that good. Maybe the movie wasn't that good.
Yeah. But even the home thing, I know we talked about it. I was talking about it earlier. Another aspect of seeing it at home, I had fun in a packed theater. I always do. I know people are opposite. Like, no, I don't want to see people. I want to theater to myself, and I totally get that. I have a lot more fun when it's a pack, because you get to, I don't know, there's something in the air when you see a packed movie. But at the same time, in this day and age, it's probably smarter to not be in a fucking small room for 2.5 hours sitting next to someone right next to you during a pandemic. So if you are scared of that, just know that this movie is selling out like hotcakes, and if that worries you, watch it at home.
Coughing nacho cheese sauce. Yeah. That's why I like my theater. I go to there's a couple, but I always go to the old one. This theater's so old. I saw this is the theater I saw Terminator 3 in.
You're talking about Carmack?
Yeah, Carmike is where I go. It's now like AMC 12. But yeah, no one goes there because we have all these new theaters where you have to choose your seats. I don't like the choose your seat thing, because I always buy my tickets too late and the seats suck. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm like old school. Let me come early and get a good seat. All right.
Yeah.
But I like that one because there's no one in there. It's weird because my theater liking experience, you like to be in the crowd. I like having the big screen, but it's just like me in the middle of the fucking theater alone. I'm just like, this is this is awesome. It's like having my own theater.
Yeah.
And there's a nostalgia of like, see, I saw episode 3 there. I saw like a lot of big movies there. I saw the first Avengers there. A lot of movies from my childhood.
We saw The Dark Knight there, drunk, sitting in the front row.
Oh, yeah.
In the corner front row. I remember that.
What Spider-Man 3.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had an incident with one of our friends being drunk during Spider-Man 3 and causing a ruckus. Yeah, it was fun. We didn't need to pay attention to Spider-Man 3 anyway.
It was a shit show. Probably improved it.
Venom. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Please check out the YouTube videos. Please check out the Spotify, Apple Music if you would like to just listen to the podcast. And as always, we do this every Sunday. We typically do movies, but we do video games too. But there just hasn't been something that we've felt obligated to do because there's just so many movies lately. It'll probably be pretty movie packed till the end of the year. Because we got big ones coming. I can't wait for Ghostbusters and all this stuff, dude.
Yeah, I don't see video games coming back till probably Halo. That's not till December. I don't think there's anything in November that's kind of a big. I think it's kind of movies from here on out. Next week is One Night in Soho and Antlers, but I'll probably see one of those. But I don't know if any of those. We always do Halloween Kills because we're actually recording on Halloween next week, like Halloween Day. So maybe we can pick a retro horror movie. We could do Halloween Kills, or we can figure it out.
I was looking at Halloween Kills, but I think the damn Peacock doesn't have a free trial. I was like, what kind of these things don't have a free trial? They always got the first 30 days free, and then you got to take your credit card off so they don't charge you later. I'll look again, but I've heard some bad reviews on Halloween Kills.
It's really bad.
Yeah, and I like there's a video of like Jamie Lee Curtis. She's like, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. No.
I was like, the first one wasn't that great. That first reboot, and I heard this one's even worse. And they've already like named the third one. They already knew this is a trilogy. I just I saw one clip of it where it's like Michael Myers out there, and all the townspeople are like, just,
Yeah,
like beating him in a circle. He's like, going this way.
It's a mob justice movie. It's a bizarre film.
They like make you feel bad for Michael Myers. Little Mikey.
If you don't end up watching it, I recommend watching the Half in the Bag, Red Letter Media's review of it.
I saw some of that. That's where I got some of this information from.
It's a pretty good review.
I remember there was something in the Half in the Bag. Wait a minute, Michael Myers is turning us into monsters.
Yeah. So stupid. Evil dies tonight. They say evil dies tonight about 15 times in the movie.
And it's like Michael Myers is just testing out the different knives in the kitchen on that guy's back.
That was pretty cool.
This one's good. The serrated works nice. All right, yeah. So we'll talk about it and see what we're gonna do. See if I can figure out a way to watch this train wreck.
Yeah, it would be fitting. Do a Halloween movie on Halloween.
I still really like
not that one, but
I still really like the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Or we could do the Rob Zombie one.
People hate it, but I love it. And I love what the heck's that one guy's name? The Mexican always plays like a gangster, and he was in Halloween. He was like the guard in the
Danny Trejo?
Yeah, Danny Trejo. It's like, but I was good to you, Mikey. Mikey.
The thing about Rob Zombie, dude, all of his characters, I mean, this may not be politically correct, but I don't really care. His characters are all trashy. I don't know. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems all his movies are like really white trash.
Yeah, it's kind of like the white trash verse.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of everybody in his movies. Well, I mean, it's kind of like
vulgar and just ridiculous.
Well, it's kind of like you're either of a high, it's got that element to it, but then everyone that's not that in the movies are all just equestrian, like, oh, we're too good. So I think, he's always got this class divide about like the lower class trying to fit in, kind of weird thing. But overall, I think his movies are pretty awesome. He's got like a style. He's definitely like a Tim Burton. You could definitely tell a Rob Zombie movie.
Oh, yes.
Mainly because it's going to have the same fucking actors playing the same fucking people.
Yeah. I think the only movie that I really liked, I haven't seen it in years, so maybe if I rewatched it, I wouldn't like it as much. But at the time, I really liked Devil's Rejects. I just like has a kicking ass soundtrack. It's kind of more action packed. But I remember liking that one a lot.
Yeah, all of those are pretty good. And then the first Halloween I really liked. The second one was a little weird. And I wish he would have been able to do more of it.
Yeah, I wish Halloween would have died with the first, because they kept expanding to Michael Myers, but what's so cool about, whether you like Halloween or not just you, but people out there, is that what's cool about that movie is there was never a motive. Like, there's no reason why he does what he does. He just does it, and it's kind of cool. But then the more the movies went along, they give him a backstory. Oh, Laurie's his sister, and it's just like, ugh. It was so cool when you just didn't know. He was just running around killing people. Yeah.
And then, like Friday the 13th too, like when they did that reboot. I thought I never saw that. I thought that was pretty good, but they tried to take away like all the supernaturalness of Jason, like, how he's always right there and he's always right on you. So they made it so there's like a tunnel system underneath Camp Crystal Lake, and that's how he traverses the place. So it explains like how he like will just show up somewhere. I was like, I don't know about that. Yeah. Tunnels. He's just like just running in the tunnel to pop up behind you in a bush.
It's like a gopher in Caddyshack, the close up, and he's just running down a tunnel.
Yeah, he pops out of one. It's like, I'm all right. Another fucking summer.
Camp Crystal Lake.
All right. Hello, campers. All right, yeah, that's all we got. We're getting into Friday the 13th spoiler territory. So you know that's when the episode needs to end. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll check you next week. Appreciate you as always, and laters.
Yeah, peace.